Hello, Class A football fans. Welcome to our Class A semifinal preview. I'm not your average Joe. This is Saints TV. Thanks for joining us. Let's jump right into the first of two semifinal games coming up this week on Thursday. The undefeated showdown at the Unidome. Can we play this one outside is the question. I think both teams would take that. The number 2 ranked St. Ansgar Saints take on the number 4 Wapsie Valley Warriors Thursday, 10 a.m. Both teams have been perfect all season. Only one can punch a ticket to the state championship. Two 11-0 squads collide deep in the playoffs. That's what it's all about. Let's start with St. Ansgar. The Saints have been nothing short of dominant. Every single one of their wins has been by at least 20. Fans in St. Ansgar are used to fast starts and comfortable finishes. This team has simply steamrolled opponents week in and week out. A huge part of that success is because of a stingy defense that's allowing just 7 points per game. The Saints defense has shut the door on teams all season long. They held a strong Northland team to 21 in the quarterfinals while dropping 49 points of their own. In short, St. Ansgar hasn't really been tested to this point in the season. Offensively, they're balanced and efficient. They love to establish the run and control the clock, but they're far from one-dimensional. Sophomore quarterback Porter Schwiesow has stepped in under center this year and has been extremely efficient, completing 75% of his passes, 744 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Those aren't huge volume numbers, but they show if you load up to stop the run, Schwiesow can and will make you pay over the top. And because the Saints often grab early leads, they haven't really needed to throw a ton, but the threat is there, and that will come in handy here come playoff time in the Dome. Combine that with a stable of tough running backs and a physical offensive line, you have a unit that's averaging 50 points a game while methodically wearing teams down. The offense is led by senior running back Corbin Michaels, who's carried the ball 100 times for 1,554 yards. By our Mitchell County math, that's 15.5 yards per carry. 31 touchdowns on the ground for Corbin Michaels. Fullback Joe Clevenger averages 10 yards per carry himself with 815 yards and 11 touchdowns. Senior Connor Mullenback, listed as an athlete on our roster, over 850 yards of total offense, 11 touchdowns this season. It's pick your poison for defenses. Stack the box and risk the play action pass, or drop back and let the running game run right over you. No one's found the antidote yet to stop this Saints offense. On the other side, we've got Wapsie Valley, a program that's enjoying a renaissance. It's the Warriors' first trip to the Unidome since 2013. You know, Reedland and Fairbank are fired up for this one. It's a team that earned it the hard way last week. They had to survive a nail-biter 22-16 in the quarterfinals. They beat Linville Sully to keep their perfect season alive on a last-minute touchdown pass. Unlike St. Ansgar, Wapsie's had to flex those clutch muscles in close games, so that could be an advantage if this semifinal turns tight. Still, for most of 2025, the Warriors have looked just as dominant as the Saints. They cruised through the regular season. They beat North Lynn, who was ranked ahead of them at the time, 42-0 to win the district title just a few weeks ago in that one. So don't let that close quarterfinal fool you. This team can light it up on both sides of the ball. The heartbeat of Wapsie Valley is their ground game, kind of like the Saints. Senior running back Hunter Curley is the name to know. He's been the workhorse for the Warriors. He's racked up over 1,900 yards of rushing and 28 touchdowns on the season. He carries a huge load for this offense that scores 42 points per game, a big chunk of that production coming from Curley and his explosive runs. He averages 9 yards per carry. Credit Wapsie Valley's offensive line. Of course, focusing too much on Curley opens things up for the other Warriors and the athletes that they have around the field. Quarterback play's been solid. Junior Caleb Hogan has a couple of receivers that like to stretch the field. Make no mistake, though, Wapsie Valley wants to establish the run, control the tempo, and let Curley wear down the defense as the game goes on. For you Saints fans, that sounds like a familiar recipe. So, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Well, we're going to find out, because it's strength on strength here with both defenses playing lights out against two strong rushing attacks. That's the matchup to watch. The Saints only give up 7 points a game. Something's got to give. Will the Saints swarm the ball and contain Curley? Will Wapsie's offensive line continue to make lanes like they have all year? If Wapsie can't run, will they be able to go to the air and loosen up the Saints defense up front. On the flip side, can Wapsie's defense handle St. Ansgar's three-headed monster that we've talked about throughout the season on offense? The Warriors aren't shabby on defense themselves. They hold teams regularly under 10 points. Remember, they shut out North Lynn 40-0. And, of course, they had to clutch that last week, the clutch win there with Linville Sully. They picked a ball off in the final 30 seconds to seal the victory there. So keys to victory look like this for St. Ansgar. I think it comes down to protecting the football and starting fast. The Saints want to seize momentum early, as they have done all season long. They want to put Wapsie in an uncomfortable position of playing from behind. So they have to execute on those first couple of drives, finish in the red zone, let the defense do its thing. On defense, they have to bottle up Hunter Curley. Easier said than done. Not many teams have succeeded throughout the season. St. Ansgar will likely stack the box to try to stop that run, rally to the football as they've done all season long. Tackling will be huge. Curley breaks into the second level. He's gone oftentimes. On the other side, Wapsie Valley needs to weather the early storm. The Saints jump out to big leads. So if you're Wapsie, you have to avoid that avalanche early. Maybe even deliver that first punch yourself. Last week, we saw North Lynn win the toss and elect to take the ball on offense. Does Wapsie do the same thing given the opportunity? They need to establish Curley. That's not negotiable for them. Even if we hold him in check early, I think Wapsie Valley has to stick with it and keep pounding. Wapsie Valley needs to add a wrinkle or two, whether that's through the play action pass, a trick play, the quarterback rolling out, making a big play on third down. They're going to have to keep St. Ansgar honest on defense, and I think that is their key to do that. And, of course, it's playoff time, so it comes down to turnovers, special teams, penalties. In these close games like this one, which is extremely evenly matched, a single miscue or a kick return could swing the outcome. I can't wait. This matchup has all the makings of a classic. You've got two proud, undefeated teams that have been dominant all season. It's strength on strength with stout defense against strong running games, excellent athletes all over the field on both sides. This is what playoff football is all about. Thursday morning at the Dome, we'll see whose perfect season continues. Will St. Ansgar's relentless march go on, or will Wapsie Valley's storybook run add another thrilling chapter? Get to the Dome. Be there. Be loud, Iowa high school football fans. This is one you don't want to miss. 10 a.m., number 2 St. Ansgar versus number 4 Wapsie Valley. It's a heavyweight fight that goes down to the wire. Be there.